Hello and welcome to Math 8 Unit 4B Lesson 1. This is our last unit. Woohoo! So, okay. For our objective today, scholars will find the volume of cylinders and use the formula to find missing dimensions of cylinders. You are going to need calculators, so make sure you have Desmos up and open. Okay, so first, how can we find the area of a cylinder? First of all, we all know what a cylinder is. This shape right here is a can. It is anything where you have circles on both ends and then the middle. So, the formula for the volume of a cylinder is volume equals pi times your radius squared times the height. So, a couple things to know. Of course, V is our volume. Volume is always when we have a three-dimensional figure. So it is a three-dimensional figure. Wow, my spelling's really bad today. Three-dimensional. So remember, our radius is half the diameter. When we're talking about the radius, we are always talking about the radius of the circle. Finally, height. And this one gets a little bit weird. So if you look at this one, the height doesn't have anything to do with what it actually is. The height is always going to be the distance between our two circles. So in this case, it's 15 feet, even though that isn't the actual height. When we're finding this, the height is always the distance between the circular bases. Okay? Remember to watch. Sometimes, they like to give you the diameter all the way across instead of halfway. In which case, you would have to find out what the radius was first. So this one's not too bad. Our radius is 4. Our height is 15. So pi times 4 squared times 15. Well, we got pi. 4 squared is 16 times 15 gives us, turn my calculator on, 240. So this is 240 times pi. Sometimes they ask you for the exact. This is what you would put. Otherwise, you can do 240 times pi on your calculator. And it will give you, and that will give you, and then you're going to have to know what to round to. So in this case, I'm going to round to, because I've got 753.9822369. I'm going to round to this place, the 100th place, which gives me 753.98, because the number after it 2 is less than 5. Okay, so let's practice this. Again, our formula is volume equals pi times the radius squared times the height. First thing we need to find is our radius and our height. So you'll notice here I have 8 centimeters, but is that my radius? No, it's going all the way across. See here, this goes all the way across. So that is actually my diameter. To find the radius of the diameter, we're going to divide by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Here is my height. So there's my height. There's my radius. So my volume equals pi times 4 squared times 16. Well, volume equals 4 squared is 16. Again, you're using a calculator for this. 16 times 16 gives me 256. So 256 pi would be the exact if I wanted to do it with you giving the approximation. It would give me the volume equals 804 point, it's 2477, which is around to 25. Okay, not too hard. Again, we're going to be using our calculators. Okay, so here's another one. Again, volume equals pi times our radius squared times our height. So here is our radius, here is our height. So pi times 3 squared times 6. So our volume equals 9 times 6 times pi. Remember, the order doesn't matter because it's all multiplication. 9 times 6 is simply 54. So my volume is 54 pi if they ask for the exact answer. If I want to go ahead and find the approximation, it gives me my volume is 169.65. Again, you're doing that on a calculator. Let's try another. Okay, here again, radius, height, volume equals pi times 7 squared times 5. So my volume equals 49 times 5 times pi. So my volume equals 245 pi, which is simply approximately 769.69. And then if I was to write my units, it'd be cubic feet. So feet cubed. All these would be cubic feet because we're multiplying feet times feet times feet. Okay, so here's one. What if they gave us the volume? So I know that the volume is 176. I know the formula is pi times my radius squared times h. Here, I can tell my radius is going to be 4 because my diameter is 8. So 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So I have 176 equals pi times 4 squared times h. Remember, I'm trying to find the height. So in this case, we are going to use pi equals 3.14 as our approximation of pi. So please make sure that you use that. So I'm going to do 176 divided by 16 times pi to get h. Okay, so you're going to put that in your calculator. 176 divided by 16 pi. 3.14 times 3.14. Put that in, you should get my height equals 34.54. That's all we're doing. Again, you're using your calculator. Well, here again, I don't know the height. I know my volume is 314. Again, they've given me my diameter. So 10 divided by 2 is going to give me 5 for my radius. So 314 equals pi times 5 squared is 25 times the height. So I'm going to divide both sides by 25 times pi to find my height. So I simply do 314 divided by 25 times 3.14 to get 39.44 is my height. Not too bad. Okay. So let's talk about this in the real world. So about how many gallons of water does the water cooler bottle contain? So we have here a cylinder. Here's our circular. Let me try a different color for that. Here's our circular tops. Here's our height. Here's our circular bottom. So here is my diameter. So my radius can be 0.5. Here's my height, 1.7. So at the end, so we're going to figure out the volume of this cylinder. So I've got pi times 0.5 squared times 1.7. And you can put that entire thing into your calculator. 1.7 times 0.5 squared times 3.14. So that gives me that the total volume of this is 1.3345. But they're not asking me about the volume. They're asking me about how much water it contains. So it told me here 1 cubic foot is 7.5 gallons. So we're going to now multiply this times 7.5. So I got 1.3345 times 7.5. And when I put that in, I find out that it is about 10.00875. So the closest answer here is about 10 gallons. Okay, one more time. In the real world, a swimming pool. So a cylindrical swimming pool. You guys ever seen a big circular swimming pool? Of course, it's actually a cylinder because it's got a base and height. So the swimming pool has a diameter of 16 feet and a height of 4 feet. How many gallons of water can the pool contain? So first thing, we need to find the volume of the pool. So the volume equals pi times 16. We need to divide that in half to find our radius, because it's 8, times 8 squared times 4. So again, we're putting that into our calculator. 8 squared times 4 times 3.14 gives me a volume of 803.84 cubic feet. And remember, each cubic foot is 7.5 gallons, so now we're going to multiply that times 7.5. When we put that into our calculator, we get a total of 6,028.8 gallons to fill it. It's a lot of water to fill that pool. Okay, so go ahead and try your problems that you've got and ask any questions in class. See you there.